Kia ora, nau mai whakarongo mai ki te kite kōnai ipurangi nei tū tāne ko Apa Wātine tōku ingoa. Hello, welcome back to Becoming Tāne podcast. My name is Apa Wātine. This is the second episode of season 1. I'm so glad that you decided to join me today on our journey to grow great guys. Before we talk about today's podcast, let me give you an update. We have a website. Woohoo! The website address is www.becomingtane.men. That is www.becomingtane.men. M-E-N. So if you would like to contact us via email, you can send your emails to info@becomingtane.men, and we're also on Facebook at Becoming Tāne. The title of today's podcast is called Chase Your Dreams, and our guest today is John Gillette. Before we speak to our guest today, let me give you some background information on Johnny. Johnny was born in Hamilton. He has one sibling and older sister. He attended Melville High School. Following high school, he moved to Auckland to pursue a professional rugby league career. A few years later, he returned to education where he studied at Wintec and completed a Bachelor of Sports and Exercise Science degree. Unfortunately, an injury curtailed his promising rugby league career, but eventually it led Johnny to the health and fitness industry, where he has been for the last 30 years. Johnny was one of the first personal trainers at Les Mills in Hamilton before it was a thing, and worked there for a number of years. Johnny has worked with a number of elite athletes from rugby, rugby league, aerobics and CrossFit over the years. Johnny has been involved with strength and conditioning training for professional rugby teams including the Waikato Chiefs, the Korean and Hong Kong national team and the Māori All Blacks. Johnny is the owner, director and head trainer at CrossFit Waikato, where he has been working for the last few years. Johnny currently has a partner with 2 sons, Jackson and Cash. Cash is named after one of his idols, Cassius Clay. So the first question that I have for you, Johnny, today is, what events in your life have the greatest impact on you?
Okay, I guess the course of my life from a very young age, when I say young, maybe 13, 14, 15, up to the age of 19 was because of, the success through the age groups playing rugby league. I decided at a very young age that I wanted to pursue a professional rugby league career. So from, 14, 15 onwards up to 19, that's what I had my heart and soul set on. However, I think I was about 17, I ruptured my ACL playing league. Back in those days, there wasn't the technology to repair ACLs. So I continued to play on it for a couple more years and just kept on injuring my knee, just kept on playing on it, injuring it. So by the time I was 19, which was my last year in Auckland, playing for the Mangere East Rugby League team, the knees kind of gave out and went to a surgeon who was starting to do knee reconstructions, and he looked at my knee and said, "Nah, mate, you need to give up the game. You've got the knee joint of a 50-year-old now. If you continue to do what you're doing to it, you'll probably be crippled by the time you're 30. So that was a major life-changing event for me and made me kind of pursue what I ended up doing, which was a life in the health and fitness industry.
The same injury today, John, how long can one recover from that sort of injury?
I've lost count of the number of league players that have done the ACLs today, and they're back within 6 months, I guess. It's normally a season ending. So it's still quite a major surgery today. Like, you're not back within a month, but a season down and you're good to go the following year.
The other thing I wanted to ask you is, was rugby league the sport that you were always passionate about?
Well, my father was a Māori All Black, so I grew up following rugby union. And I was always a staunch Melville boy growing up because that's who my father played for. And just following him around as a young fella, and used to idolise his days as a rugby player, and I wanted to be like my dad. But after discovering rugby league, that changed. I enjoyed it a bit more than rugby union, but pretty much.
I'm going to take a back step. So my brother was saying, who's this white boy? But yet your dad was a Māori All Black. How
Yeah.
come they refer to you as the white boy?
Oh well, back in those days when I had hair, it was very blonde, and so I was a bit of a throwback. They used to call me Waka Blonde, but so yeah, if I ran on the field, I'm not the darkest guy around either. They thought I was European, which is fine, but I always identified with my Māori side because, growing up, that's used to hang out with my Māori family more than my Pākehā family. And that kind of used to infuriate me when they used to, give me a bit of stick on the field. Like, oh, let's get that Pākehā boy. And I'd be like, no, I'm not a Pākehā, man. I'm going to get you for saying that.
So you got it all the time?
Not all the time. No, I think after a while, being in for a season or two, they knew a bit more about my background. My ethnicity was obviously a bit more apparent, especially once I spoke. But it wasn't something that stuck around my whole league career.
You see, you idolized your dad a bit. Tell me how your relationship was with your dad.
Back in those days, the relationship was a lot different. Your father said something and you just did it. I think you don't know this, but my relations and that said that growing up, I was always the apple of my father's eye. I mean, he loved his daughter, my sister, but I was the only boy, and I guess he loved his sport, and I think he really enjoyed following my league career once he'd retired and hung up his boots.
What were some key lessons that he taught you?
He was always a hard worker, whether he was, working for a living or when he was training. Used to watch him as a kid, training himself. And, even back then it was pretty basic training, but, they used to hit the road. So I used to follow him on my push bike and he'd be running, and he had an old railway bar with little railway wheels on the ends, and he used to lift that and skip, and, and I used to go, wow, man, it's pretty cool. And just watching him work out. So, that kind of training was instilled in my brain at a very young age. That to get fit, you got to work hard for it. I guess that developed me and my personality and what I believed in growing up.
As I mentioned, you've been in the fitness industry for about 30 odd years. You initially started with Les Mills, but currently you're an owner and director of CrossFit Waikato. How long has that business been up and running?
I opened that up in 2012, so we're in our 8th year now. Yeah, that was just, when CrossFit was first coming out, and I guess with training my clients, I was doing personal training back in 2008, 2009, 2010. I was starting to develop my programs to do the big multi-joint training, like squats with dumbbells and then a press at the top. So doing a squat press, and CrossFit call that thrusters. I'm doing a lot of, cleans and presses, and I started to develop that training because, most of my clients wanted to tone up and lose weight. And I found, well, the best way to do that is a lot of multi-joint training, because it burns up a lot of energy, a lot of calories, gets their heart rate right up, gets them sweating, gets them puffing. And that's how I was starting to develop all my training for my clients and myself. And then one of the bros rang up and said, hey man, you're training, have you ever heard of CrossFit? And I went, no. And so he said, you should look in. I just saw something on it. And so I did look it up, and I thought, wow, yeah, that's very similar to what I'm doing now. But with CrossFit, they do a lot of stuff in regards to time, like they do set amount of exercises and do 4 sets of those exercises and time yourself. So the CrossFit gave me time to work out, or rounds to work out, so many rounds in so many minutes. That just added another level of intensity to the workouts. That was how I kind of got into CrossFit. Loved it. My CrossFit gym's not an elite CrossFit gym by any stages of imagination, but we have a really good whānau vibe down there, and there are some, don't get me wrong, there's some awesome athletes in there, but we're not so much focused on competitive CrossFitters, such as just having a good hard workout and just enjoying that for what it is. And I think that's what stands us out from the other CrossFits.
So with your experience with professional athletes, why did you not stay in the elite field?
I think CrossFit is a young man's sport, that elite level. It's, I don't know, it's kind of a fickle little group at that top level of CrossFitters, and maybe because I'm older now and I can't be bothered with it, I'd rather just just look after my group and my gym are late 30s, 40s, so they are not past their best, but prime is definitely a few years ago, along with mine, and that's fine.
Have you had any mentoring in terms of running your business?
Yeah, I have, especially in initial stages, setting up my business with a business plan and that sort of thing. I used Kim Hill as my business mentor, and she's trains with me now, and she's always asking me, am I doing this? Am I doing that?
What do you wish you had known before you started this journey of running a business?
I think when you have your own business, like the rewards far outweigh the negatives, but if there is a negative, when you're in your own business, it never goes away. It's with you 24/7, whether you like it or not. You're always worrying, am I getting enough members? I've lost a member. I need to get some more members in. You got your GST, you got your provisional taxes. There's so many things. Like you can't just go to work, do your hours and come home and forget about it for the day. You've always got those sort of things that are always going to never let you totally get away from the business. You know what I mean? For me, I've always okay, do my programming. Is it exciting for them? Challenging? Is it also stimulating them? But also most of all, is it safe? So all those sort of things, and then some people may come to me with an injury or something that's happened through whatever reason. And so you've got to adapt programs individually in a group environment. So it's challenging for me and just keeps me on my toes. The thought of me going to work under someone else's roof with a whole lot of other different strangers, I think that I'm lucky to do what I do and have my own business.
Within the Waikato area, there are a number of organisations that are supporting men in their journey. One of these organisations is the Male Support Services of Waikato. The founder and manager of the organisation is Mike Holloway, and he is here to share with us what their services is all about.
It started because there's no support for fellas out there. Everything was pretty much perpetrator based. Being a survivor myself, I had to go through the ropes with my family, and we were virtually asked to set something up. 2008 was when we registered the trust. At the beginning, it was just myself, and it was just one-on-one with other survivors and virtually walking some of the journey with them. There's guys who have been sexually abused as kids or at some stage in life, and we're not talking about perpetrators, we're talking about victims. The trust has really grown, so we still do the one-on-ones. We've got 3 or 4 groups going. We also support the families. We do social work, do anything that will move the guy forward, court work, anything. It's growing, so we're getting about 2.5 referrals a day. So we're looking at perhaps a new building. I want to grow the work in prisons. We extended it from sexual abuse to physical, mental, emotional and domestic abuse. So we need to try and hook them with the DHB, schools, etc., and look at kaupapa Māori arm.
If a guy wants some support here in the Waikato, Hamilton region, how do they get in contact with you?
We don't have a lot of paperwork for referral, so it's just a phone call or an email or a text or on the website, just a quick notification, and we'll contact them and then we'll sort it out from there. We make it as easy as possible. www.waikatosurvivors.org.nz 0800 677 289. The trust is a taonga for our men in the Waikato, and what we're trying to do is saying Waikato look after their men.
The website again is waikatosurvivors.org.nz, and their number is 0800 677 289. Kia ora, welcome back. Johnny, what is your superpower? My definition of this is what makes you you.
Well, I suppose after so many years of training individuals, groups, teams, I think it's something that I can do is read people and to see if they're actually being honest with me, or are they trying to pull the wool over my eyes and give me bullshit. For example, I still have a lot of personal training as well as my CrossFit Waikato, and most of the clients would want to see me to tone up, lose weight. And so obviously a big part of that is nutrition. In fact, it's about 90%. So with every person that comes to me with that, apart from the training, which is the little bit of the equation, I give them a nutrition plan. and they may come in a week later and have a weigh-in, and I'll be like, okay, so let's weigh in and see where you're at. And they'll go, oh my God, I haven't lost any weight, I've been so good. And I could sniff bullshit within seconds if they have or if they haven't. It's just, I guess it's the years of dealing with people in that situation. I can tell if they're actually genuine or if they've been cheating and not doing it as they should have. And that was the same with professional rugby teams too. I could tell if they were genuinely pushing themselves or they were just holding back and just faking what they're doing. I could tell when they're actually genuinely fatigued and I needed to back off, or I needed to smash them a bit more and get a bit more out of them. So I don't know if that's a superpower, but that's something that I've developed over the years is to tell if people are being honest with me or if they're giving me bullshit.
Let me read what your significant other wrote down as your superpower. They actually gave me 3, but they highlighted your number one superpower. And it actually relates to what the person that I contacted said about you. So, I think there's a whole lot of truth in this. So your significant other said, your number one superpower is that you're fiercely loyal. Johnny is a fiercely loyal person as a partner, father, friend, or family member. Johnny is also a very passionate person who always puts people he loves above himself. So,
that's nice, isn't it?
A little bit different to reading people.
Yeah.
Why do you think both of these people identify you as a loyal person above anything else?
For me, my family always comes first, and those that are close to me. And if I have friends that I've known for a while, and again, I can tell if people are loyal to me, then I'll be loyal back. But you just have that sense about different things of when it comes to friends. Family is always your family, no matter what they do. And you'll ride and die by the sword with your family, and it's something that's been ingrained as well as part of a team. For me, when I did play league, my biggest fear wasn't the opposition; it was letting my teammates down. And you didn't want to be that guy that missed the tackle or dropped the ball or something like that caused your team to lose a game. Or so, despite the number of years that I haven't played league now, I will never forget certain tackles that I missed throughout my career. That just I never ever forget.
I was going to say, loyalty isn't something that is valued that much today. It's interesting that this is a trait that these people have identified for you. You see, your family always comes first. Was there any particular experience that reinforced to you that family should come first?
No, I don't think it's any particular experience that I can remember. But when you think of what it takes to bring a child into the world and to bring them all the things that come with raising a child, then I'm always going to be forever grateful to my parents for what they did for me. We never had an extravagant upbringing. We were just, an average family. My dad was a shearer, a farmer. My mum was a legal secretary. So, but just good, honest people that worked hard for a living and gave me food every day and a house over my head. So, you never want to take those things for granted. And I think that's something that, maybe today's generation expect it rather than are thankful for it. I don't know. It's kind of different today, isn't it? I think when I was growing up too, we always spent a lot of time with family. My father came from a big family, so we were always together at Raglan and always cherish those times. And they never judge you or anything. And the good thing about whānau is they knew you when you're a baby, and they don't care who you are or what you've done in your life. You're still just John. That's what they call me, John. And you know that they'll always got your back just as much as you have theirs in difficult situations.
What is masculinity?
Masculinity to me is stepping up, being the man in whatever role is required at the time.
Masculinity is openness, it is empathy, it is vulnerability.
Basically, a big, strong, manly figure. It is an oak tree, solid, strong, not easily moved, and doesn't have to prove itself.
It's an outward manifestation of inner strength and character, but it also feels gender linked.
Masculinity, I think straight away about te ira tāne. So we have te ira tāne, te ira wahine, and te ira atua. Our feminism, masculinity, and spiritual dimensions that make us up is te ira tangata.
The roles that men play in society, the provider, the tough sports, the teaching the sons how to be a man, those types of roles.
Masculinity is the form of energy that we as men produce. It differentiates us from gender identities.
For me, masculinity means how each man conducts himself.
What is your definition of masculinity? Kia ora, welcome back. Earlier on, you mentioned you did your ACL. That would have been quite tough for you mentally, physically, and also emotionally. How did you get through that?
Oh, geez, it was a tough time because, that was a dream that I'd been working for 5 or 6 years, in terms of trying to train my body to get up to that level of professionalism. And to have that taken away it was pretty devastating for me and my family, because they knew how much I wanted to do that and what I worked up for. With that setback, because I'd done a lot of training in the gym and always eating properly, and that I also developed a passion for fitness. And so that was my next way to get over that disappointment was, okay, well, let's look at something that I also enjoy doing. And that's what I ended up doing with that, to get the academic side of things. I always had a practical side of training. And so getting the degree to back up my myself as a creditable trainer was something that I found hard, but, with application, it was done. But, I can actually remember at high school, and they'd never do this now, but my PE teacher at the time, he said, John, what do you want to do if you can't play the league? And I said, I'd like to actually do what you do, sir, PE teacher or something like that. And he said to me, gee, I don't know if you'd be able to do that. You're dumb. And I was like, hey, to be fair, I didn't study as hard as I should have at school, but I think, man, you shouldn't ever say that to people, because nobody's dumb. They just choose not to apply themselves in the academic area. So when I did get my degree, I actually thought of him and thought, oh, well, I wish you could see me now, mate.
Johnny, what life taught you so far?
I think I've learned a lot about myself in terms of trying to be a bit more patient with people. I've been told that I do have a short fuse, so just trying to work with that bit of feedback, trying to, learn how to, count to 10 or take a few breaks if I feel myself getting a little bit heated. But most of all, I think it's everybody gets setbacks in life, no matter who you are or what you do. And it's just having the ability to, take whatever setback it is on the chin and having the determination, focus to, if something didn't work, find another way to make it work or set another goal. For me, it was the goal of being a professional league player, but didn't work. So after that major disappointment, setting out to chase my other passion, which was the health and fitness area, and doing what I needed to do to be successful in that area. And I'm sure there's going to be, more disappointments to come in terms of running my business that, can't be helped, but you just stay on track with what your goals are and don't let any setback deter you from pushing forward. That's something that I've learned over the years anyway.
So your business is called CrossFit Waikato. Do you have a website? Do you have a Facebook page? How can they get in contact with you, Johnny?
Yeah, so we have a web page. It's just crossfitwaikato.nz. And yeah, there's a link on there if you want to contact me. I've got all my contact details on that website. So I'm also doing personal training still. So even if anyone's interested in personal training, then there's my contact details on my website.
And you run a Facebook page as well?
I do. It's a private page just for my members, but it's just CFW, so short for CrossFit Waikato. CFW Whānau 2014 was when I set that up. It's got CFW Whānau 2014.
Now, are you one of these flash people that have Instagram?
Yes. I don't know how to use it too good though, but yes, I do.
Do you know what your handle is for Instagram?
I think it's Waikato CrossFit.
Well, just to close us off, Johnny, is a last bit of advice. What bit of advice would you give someone, or, if there was one thing that someone could take away from our kōrero today, what would that be?
I think for me, with what I do, I love what I do. I'm passionate about my job, and it's the most rewarding job that I have when, I might get someone come in who's grossly overweight and, they're only 20s and their 30s, grossly overweight. You look at them and think, man, if this guy doesn't do something for himself, he's going to be dead by the time he's 40. And changing that person's life in terms of what they do, activity-wise, nutrition-wise, and making them lean, fit, healthy. Those things are the most rewarding times of my career, because you know that you've probably saved that guy's life or that girl's life, and they so happy to what they've achieved. So what I'm getting at with that is chase your passion and don't let negative people put you off. Like I said before about a teacher at school that said I was too dumb to get a degree. Don't let anyone talk to you like that, or let them talk to you like that, and prove them wrong. It's a fact of life that people are always going to, especially in New Zealand, knock you down before you do what you're going to stand up. So stay focused and stay true to what you want to do, and anything is achievable if you work hard towards it. Just be relentless and the rewards will come. There's so many things that I'm thankful for. Could have easily, having my league career ended, just gone and, being a farmer or being a shearer or something like that, but it's not a passion, and there's nothing wrong with it. That's a great job, but it wasn't my passion. So I think I'm lucky to wake up and think, oh, cool, man, I'm looking forward to going to work today and meeting all my members who are like my second whānau, and, we laugh, we joke, we train hard, and it's my day. I'm lucky.
There's that quote, if you follow your passion, you'll never work a day in your life.
No, that's dead right. And that's why I think I'm one of the lucky few that actually enjoy going to work every day. Don't get me wrong, I do get a bit hoha on the odd day, but in general, I love my job.
Traditionally, barbershops have been more than just a place for a haircut. Barbershops are safe spaces for men where they can socialise and talk. In Hamilton, Reggie's Barbershop is one of those barbershops, and that has been operating since 2005. At Reggie's Barbershop, you not only get a quality cut, but you get a great environment, great barbers, great conversation, and you're made to feel more than just a number. You don't have to believe what I say. Here is some of the feedback that Reggie gets. This is the best barbers ever. Reggie is so friendly and does exactly what you're asking for. He did an amazing job with my husband's hair. Reggie's is always buzzing, such a great atmosphere and a great asset to Frankton. Sometimes the queues are out the door. During summer the music is always pumping. My son loves getting his hair cut here. In my experience, Reggie's is the best barbershop in Hamilton. I get my hair cut at Reggie's every month and I take my 3 sons there. The people are friendly and they give a great cut and it's a great price. You guys are amazing haircuts, great uplifting kōrero to Miki. Love the way they cut my hair and trim my beard. They really listen to what you want and are always keen for yarns. Awesome atmosphere created by awesome people. My husband got his hair cut and beard trim, and the barber took time to talk and gave a very personalised service. Always a cool vibe at Reggie's, nice and chilled, few laughs, great atmosphere. Me and both of my boys come here regularly. Love that atmosphere vibe. Toddler loves the stylish cuts. Mummy loves the competitive prices. So if you want a great cut, great company, great conversation, visit Reggie's Barbershop. Shop 1, 40 Lake Road, Frankton, Hamilton, or call 07 847 5275. Kia ora no ngā mihi ki a koe e whakarongo mai kite kōna ipurangi nei tū tāne. Thank you for listening to Becoming Tāne podcast. We appreciate the love and support. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe to the podcast and tell a friend about it. If you would like today's show notes, you can find it on our website at www.becomingtane.men/podcast. If you'd like to contact me, my email is info@becomingtane.men. You can also find us on Facebook at Becoming Tane. Our next episode will be featuring a teacher from my kids' kura or school, Roto Ngāhere or Forest Lake, Matt Tabram, also known as Matua Matt by my kids. Before I go today, I want to remind you that the Becoming Tane podcast is about growing great guys. So let's keep growing to be the best we can be. Mauri ora.